Back at y'all with another one. Today, you know, be talking about the real reason that Tory Lanez got stabbed 14 times in the California prison system. The Knicks won last night. We probably gonna give you some updates on that. And some other topics as well. What's up, man? Salute, 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 man. Y'all already know this is nasty work. I've been hearing a lot of cap on the internet. I mean, people have been having opinions and giving their thoughts of why Tory Lanez might have got stabbed up. And but a lot of the opinions was off, and they were giving their opinions and making them sound like the truth. Just being honest. That's not always gonna work. You really gotta, sit back and do your due diligence, wait. I've seen a few guys call in from California prison. Some people actually called in from the prison that Tory Lanez um was being held in before he was stabbed. And they said, he got stabbed early in the morning. Um by Mexicans early in the daytime, and they got him up out of there. It was just him, and I think he had on his company, whatever tier that he was on. I guess he had a lot of Mexicans on their company. That's how it is in prison sometimes. Sometimes you fall with a lot of your allies, a lot of the friends, a lot of the guys you might run with. Sometimes it might not be none. Sometimes Abdul salute. Sometimes it might be all the opposition on the company or everybody that you guys you don't really mess with. It's just like that. Um, and I think sometimes the facilities, the people, they house you in these places on purpose. They do these things on purpose, um, to people. And I think Tory Lanez ain't no different. They put them a bunch of they know what the culture is and what the climate is in those prisons. So they put them like that for a reason. They do that stuff for a reason. They put them in population, and they put them in population on a company around a bunch of people that's not of this race, and it's like a racial thing going on in your prison. Um, a lot of those housing, a lot of that stuff is planned out. When you go to these prisons, somebody's sitting back and they playing chess with all the prisoners. This how it goes. You don't want to go through this. Don't commit crimes because they're gonna throw you around opposition. They're gonna throw you around people that you might not get along with. Um, and they might not, and they might do it on purpose. They might have did it to him because they feel like he did something to a female. You shot a girl in the foot. Go over there. A lot of these officers in these prisons, when you get to these jails, if you got these bad cases, you committed these bad offenses, especially against women or children, is gonna look the other way when it comes time for something to happen to you. Cops are gonna look the other way when it comes time for something to happen to you. Yo, what up? What up? Smitty, yo, rise up.
Rise, what's going on,
Yo,
bro?
salute, man. You ain't what you doing on here, man? You can't be doing that on here, man. What's up, man? You know the protocol.
No, I ain't smoking or nothing. That's
Oh,
an
all right.
instant right there.
Yeah, man. So,
And this is like a pen.
all right. Yeah, I understand. One platform. I understand. Um, but yeah, I was just going in about Tory Lanez and the housing. You know how you know he, regardless of how we feel, if he's innocent or he's guilty, he's in prison for shooting a woman in the foot. And I was just saying that
Right.
a lot of times when you got cases, I don't care what kind of case it is, if it's against a woman or a child, then the officers and the prisoners are going to look at you a certain way. You know what I mean? If they know about it, they're going to look at you a certain way. That's just how it goes in prison. I don't think the culture changed that much in the West Coast. I'm from the East Coast. I've never been to prison on the West Coast, but I don't think that's going to change that much. I don't really know, just being honest, but I don't think that would change that much. You know what I mean? New York, Nikki, baby, what up? Salute. You already know Queens get the money. But what you think about this whole thing, Smitty?
The West Coast prison system is kind of off a race, you know,
So
and
you
it's
think you
actually
think you think
dominated.
money is not gonna move? It's gonna go race over
Huh?
money? You think it's gonna go race over money?
Yes, it's especially when the program been going on for 20, 30 years. You feel what I'm saying? Like these Mexicans had a stronghold on the prison system for some time. They deep. You understand what I'm saying? They deep. You know, I
I
just
don't
think,
I don't think it's
you
just
know,
them by themselves because from what I understand, the Mexicans and the Aryans run together.
exactly.
So I think if you that powerful, then you don't need the backing of a whole nother race. I'm just being honest. So I
I'm
don't
I'm
know.
just saying that. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that, they didn't want to see the blacks get up. You know what I'm saying? Like it was probably they probably saw a shift of power due to, Tory Lane's gang ties probably, as allegedly, his gang ties allegedly. You feel what I'm saying? They probably saw the power shifting. You know what I'm saying? Like who could go against the Mexican mafia in jail? You feel what I'm saying? Them dudes got the best connects. You know what I'm saying? We're not talking about no Bloods, no Crips. You feel what I'm saying? We talking about the Mexican mafia that could have people knock on your door like this. Yo, here, got a couple 100,000 for you.
I
Get this through
mean,
the.
don't get me wrong. The Bloods and the Crips can do that too. It ain't no. It's not like It's not like everybody
Nah,
out here doing the same things though in these streets when it comes to that
they ain't
gang
got them
stuff.
same connections. They ain't got them same connections as the Mexican mafia and the Mexican gangs, man. You know what I'm saying? We don't got a hold of the drugs that come through. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't got that.
So the powers back into the money. The powers in the drugs.
Exactly. The powers in the drugs. Tory Lanez came through, set out the black dudes with that bread. You know what I'm saying? They start getting their shit up, and dudes starts probably seeing that shit shift and was like, man, that's a dub. He
Yo, I
gotta
heard
go.
from what I'm hearing was like they love Tory Lanez in there. Them black dudes, the way he taking care of them, plus his organization to help people come home from the crime. I'm hearing that Tory Lanez is Muslim too. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm hearing that he's Muslim. All Henny salute, man. ABG, what up? Well, I ain't gonna lie, huh? You see that? Yo, the real Hefe Loco, what up? He said the lot Emma is a whole monster. Bloods and Crips is not really on a level on the West. You know what I'm saying? He agreeing with you, Smitty. You were word up. Yo, East side of town, what up? Yo, salute to everybody pulling up, man. Hit that like button on the
Yo,
way in.
salute to the family, man. Hit that like
Share the
button on the
live,
way
share the
in, man. You
live.
already know.
Yeah, share the live to the peoples. Yo, so check it out. They said homie was moving around that shit like a god. They love Tory Lanez. He was taking care of the peoples. I mean, don't get me wrong. From what I'm hearing, it sounds like homie went in there as a leader. Yo, I see you. Yo, Sky, what up? I think it seems like, it seems like Tory Lanez was a leader, and he went in there as a leader, with resources, knowing how to use the resources. He started a whole organization to get people back to time, like the like Monster Yo that we had up here, um, and on official prison talk as well. Salute to them. Monster Yo got a whole reversal. He got 6 life sentences, bro. He got a whole reversal due to Tory Lanez organization. That's one person that we know of. You heard?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like homie is like a god and they love him, the work that he doing. He rapping, he's probably connecting dudes to music and all the other things out in the streets. You know what I'm talking about? So I heard they was on timing for homie. I heard they was on timing, and I heard one of these bloggers like talk. I think Spider Loke. I watched Spider Loke, and he had somebody call in from the prison that he was in, and he like the black dudes is about to turn up as soon as we get up this lockdown. It's going up for just they going up for Tory. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I'm saying. It's a race war because, like I said, East side of town said it right. He tipped the scale in there. You
Right.
understand? The
I,
blacks
I
wasn't
I believe
used to
that. I believe
having
that.
the blacks wasn't used to having a bag like they had. They was running around. You know what I'm saying? They was together. They was doing their own thing. But when you got a millionaire coming up in there, understand what I'm saying? That shows how much power black people got. You understand? When we step in the building, the only thing we need is one powerful piece to take over. You know what I'm saying? And that's known through history. We need one powerful piece to come to the people, one leader to come to the people. You understand what I'm saying? And he's gonna turn up.
I agree with that.
You
That's
know,
true.
I just feel like the brother. Like I said, man, the Mexican mafia wasn't going for it. They saw his leadership, his leadership qualities. They saw that he was bringing the bag to the people, and they didn't like it. You understand what I'm saying?
And I think
They
he's
didn't like it.
Muslim. I think it's gonna get nasty over there because if he's Muslim, I don't know how big the Muslim population is. Other jails in New York and in the federal system, I know they big. I don't know how big Muslims are in California, but they said he was Muslim, sure.
I think the Muslim population is in every jail is big. I don't care where you at in jail. The Muslim population is always gonna be big.
Yeah, yo, Slim Slim, what up? I ain't gonna front. I ain't gonna front. They hit son. Everybody was saying he got hit in the yard. It must have been his friends backdooring him. They said that was a lie. He got hit in a common area, probably in a rec area. As soon as they locked out, they said he got hit like 7:20 in the morning. They caught him for breakfast. You know how it goes. So that hit came the next day. As soon as y'all lock out, they knew his moves. They knew how to catch him when nobody would be around. You see what I'm saying? I guess he was on a company with mostly Mexicans, from what I'm hearing. He was on a company with mostly Mexicans. That right there seems like a setup from the system anyway. For them to house him like that, knowing why would you house him there if you know the climate of the see? That's why, when you dealing with that prison stuff, don't expect anything to go your way. The powers that be make everything go against you. When I was in a gang and you was doing stuff, they was throwing you in the house with your enemies. Oh, you a gangster? All right, get in there. And even when, I had my little skirmishes with our own people, they put us around us. They gave us every opportunity to destroy each other. They put us all in positions, always the worst possible position amongst your enemies. And this how you know who was really solid because everybody bumped with their enemies. Obviously, you ain't because you could easily sign and say, "Yo, listen, I got beef with Smitty." If you're around no gangster, I don't gotta really even know your name. All you gotta say is, "Yo, I got beef with Mikey B. I can't be around him," and
Right,
they'll put a separation on you, and you'll never see him, and he will never know that you did that, right?
right,
So they are actually so like I said, being that I was living on street time, I wasn't talking to authorities or giving any of that information up of who I had beef with. Everybody I had beef with, I bumped heads with, And you know, a lot of us, we bumped into the guys we end up having beef with because we didn't do these things. And like I said, the facility, the powers that be, put us in every opportunity to destroy ourselves, to kill each other, to catch new charges. You heard? You know what I'm saying? They
Yo,
did that.
no funny, no funny. When I was in Attica, I was on a violation. I was in Attica on a violation. I had about probably like a month and a half to go home. No lie. They sent my bandit through. Sent my bandit through, sister to sister. You know what I'm saying? They sent them through. And he put the word out like, yeah, son, yo, you know what I mean? Tell Smitty, holla at me. But that's what the system do. You understand?
Right,
They know you'll be on a ticket, a fight, or what's the name? You don't put no keep lock or separation on that. And they'll send y'all right back to the same jail together. You understand what I'm saying? Just to be, you
right,
know? Well shit.
right, right, right. Yeah, bro. But you know, that's what it really is. You know what I'm talking about? Um, I think Tory, I think Tory, um, I think homie, he really, I think he's really a good dude. I think he really did some good stuff. I'm hearing, I don't know if it's true or not, so I'm not gonna really repeat it. But I'm hearing he was doing a lot of other stuff in there. He was like really on boss time. Like he was on some, heard he had got us some gambling stuff and some dudes got hurt up. I don't know if that's true or not, though. I don't know about none of that stuff. I don't know if, I don't know if it's garbage. Dudes be capping, so I don't really know. And dudes do a lot of capping on this internet. So I don't know if I can push that. But I know he was respected and loved by black people over there. I don't know, specifically. But I think everything's gonna come out, you heard? I think everything's gonna come out, you heard? Young Jeezy and Petey Pablo.
Every day I'm somebody new. I told you, son. Every day I'm somebody new. PD Pablo, Little Zane.
Oh
Niggas just
man.
be going crazy. Salute, man.
Right,
Salute, man, to you, man.
right. Yo, listen, you
Yeah, man,
know,
but
hit that like button, share, subscribe. We got Smitty in the building, a lot going on TV. Make sure y'all go subscribe to a lot going on TV. Give him them subs. He always got good content over there. He's always doing good things. Y'all go back, check a lot of his old videos. He got a lot of good stuff up there. All right, Smitty. Share the live, hit the like button if y'all in here. Yo, I hear y'all see y'all in the comments. Y'all talk about we not like that. I'm not. I'm a working dude. I'm just chilling, enjoying life, eating good. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my office. I'm in my
I'm
office.
soft.
I'm working good.
I'm
Right.
soft.
So y'all can
I'm soft. I
no.
don't want
I'm
no
not. I am
problems.
not like that
Only
no
thing I
more.
want to do is sign that paycheck, give it to the bank, and put it away. That's it. Everything else, y'all niggas could keep. You want the
Yeah.
streets, you want the lean, you want them pills that you gonna motherfucking die off of. And like, you know what I mean? Like you gotta have it. You
Yo,
want the
they said you
weed.
look like Smurf from Queens. Jeezy and Smurf from Queens, east side of town. Said, you heard?
Yo, yo, you got jokes, Eastside. Salute.
Yo, they be killing me with that. Yo, I was in a mall the other day. I seen they call who they ain't call me Jeezy. Who they call me? It was like I said somebody else. I was like Jeezy. They said a rapper. I was like y'all saying I said I get G. It was like Jeezy. The lady at the perfume joint, the dude, they got all of them. They was like it was a party. Like yo, it's crazy, yo. But
Yo, Smitty, you know Armadillo? What Armadillo, bro?
Shorty Low.
From
Get out of here, Scott. Shorty Low is wild, yeah.
y'all niggas is wilding out.
Yeah, early lunchtime wild. Y'all wilding for lunch.
Lunchtime wilding, man. Yo, so I'm saying, do you think that Tory Lanez is gonna start a race war outside in the streets as well? Let's
I
talk
don't,
about that because
I can't, I really don't know. I can't cap, I don't know. Because there's a lot of stuff going on, but I don't know if that will reach the streets. I don't know. I don't know if that would, I don't know. I ain't gonna lie.
Son who got shot and stitched his face up. Armadillo.
I don't know, bro. I don't think so. I ain't gonna lie. I don't think so. I don't think so. But I know in prison, that's just the regular business usual on the West Coast with the blacks and the Bloods and the Crips and the Mexican mafia and the Aryans. That's just the regular business usual over there. That is the culture over there. You talking about, you know what I mean? They all black stick together and they going against the Mexicans and whoever else they got with them. The Aryans or whatever's going on with that. That's just business as usual in
Nah,
prison.
nah, fuck that. I'm keeping it.
Maybe
I
on the
think
West
that shit going
Coast.
not
Maybe on the West Coast, but you got to remember, just like
that shit is gonna trickle the streets, bro.
right,
If these blacks come out
Frankie
and
Bonzo
turn up
salute.
for Tory Lane, it's gonna be a gang war on the West Coast. Brown and black again. Bottom line.
But this is what I'm saying. Just like in New York, the culture from prison leaks out into the streets somewhat. I think the culture over there is not like ours, bro. They already on a certain timing over there already. They can't go to certain places. That timing is already that timing over there. You know what I'm saying? They already know
Mm,
what it is. They already know what they're going through over there. You know what I'm saying? And us
right.
coming from the East Coast, we don't bang on them times. We not banging on Mexicans and we not against Spanish people. In certain areas, in certain communities, they might go through their little stuff. But as a whole, we don't. We live together. We love who we love. We mess with who we mess with. Some of our, we be black and one of our men might be Haitian. One of our mans might be Mexican. One of them might be Puerto Rican. You know what I'm saying? It's like we don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? But the culture over there is a little bit different. But let me ask you this: what you think about homie getting in there and really being strong and moving the crowd? What does that say about the character of Tory Lanez for him to get in prison? They said he got into the politics. He was just like, he was really. What you think about that?
I think that, in these days and time, everybody's in a struggle. So money talks. Bullshit walks. You feel what I'm saying? It's all about the bread.
But
You know what I'm saying? Like
money
at the
can't
end.
make you tough, and money can't make you a leader, bro. Don't get me wrong; it can
Yeah,
put
but
you in a
money.
position to be a leader, but you gotta
No,
have the sauce. We seen dudes that's millionaires. We seen dudes come to jail and get robbed, stabbed. They not coming to the yard and running the yard, not running, not like you know what I'm saying. Come on, bro. We seen it.
right.
We seen millionaires in these prisons. You know what I
Right,
mean?
but that was our day and age. In this day and age, the bag runs the jet.
So wait a minute. So you saying he already had? Because I want to get this clear. So you saying he already had what it takes to run the prison because he was making money in the streets, or the money automatically gave him the power to do that?
How the jail was changing and how dude the situation dudes ain't care about honor, respect, or the work dudes put in anymore. That's how it really is. Dudes
They
don't
said for
care about that.
they said for Christmas he filled everybody's commissary up.
Come on. Come on. You filling up everybody's commissary for Christmas, right? So now we know that food, cigarettes, and all that shit is money on the compound. So when you got every black person in the facility going 200, 300 brolic, you
Yo, Rex,
understand?
seizure,
Four,
yes.
five,
Yo,
six of
Rex,
them,
seizure, salute. Go ahead, bro.
4, 5, 6 of them, they gonna come together. The dudes that really needed the store money, Now the stores is looking crazy on each blocks. He's setting it up so now everybody is set up on each. Now they like, hold up, these blacks is organizing. They coming together. Get him out the way.
I
Get him
think
out the
if
way
they,
because
I
now
think, if,
now they gotta
I think you're right about that, bro. I think you're right. I think if they was all, if he came in there, and obviously, homie's a smart dude. I got a lot more respect for his mind over his money now for him to go in there and to move in that system where he's not from. He ain't from that ain't Canada. He in a whole he in a whole state, California. And the opposition of the black people over there, just how it is in California, hit him. So that shows that he was a power piece. For them to have to remove him finally, and that was a kill shot. They said both of his lungs collapsed, bro. He got hit 2 times. He got hit 2 times in the back of the head. They got 1 time in the face. He got hit like 7 times in the back. They really try to end son, bro. They
they
really
made sure
hit him
that
bad,
he
bro.
couldn't make no music no more. They try to end him so he couldn't make no music no more.
Both
You
his lungs
understand what I'm saying? They
collapsed,
try
bro.
to,
Both of his lungs collapsed
yeah.
is bad, you heard? So for them to have to, let me tell you something, bro. It shows you who you are, not only by the company that you keep, but how people treat you. For him to go in there, we didn't hear like if he was a lame, they could have just washed him up. Yo, they smacking Tory Lanez if they go in his pockets. They couldn't just do that because we probably would be hearing a story about that. He got robbed. We hear all kind of stories about these rappers going to prison, bro. Yo, he got robbed. They took the phone from him. I got all kind of stories I done heard. I don't be saying everything because I don't know what's true and what's fake, but I know some things happened. And for us, they could have just went in his pockets and took his stuff. So, but obviously they couldn't just handle him like that because they saying so they like, yo, he got to get off this. Why would you want to send a bag out? You sending the bag out because you want the bag. Why would you want money off the set? Any smart person is always going to want the bag on the set. Nah, what you doing? Chill, hold up. Homie's getting money. The Mexicans wasn't getting none of that money, obviously. Whatever the blacks was doing, the Mexicans wasn't involved. And it was like you said, it was empowering the black prisoners. He was taking care of the black prisoners. Dudes was getting reversals. Everybody's commissary spilled. You don't know who else he gave money to. Dude just shaking a leg. Everybody walking around. Everybody got cell phones. Yeah, Tory up here. What? You want to holler at Tory? Yeah, put Tory on FaceTime. You know what I'm saying? This is what's going on, though. This is how it really
Right,
goes down. You heard? We've been,
right.
I've been, um, all them rappers, Mob Deep, all of them was in prison in New York. All these guys that you hear about, a lot of them was in prison in New York. So some of us bumped in some of them.
Taking care of the people.
Yeah, yeah.
Taking care of the people. When Mob Deep, when Prodigy was in there, the Queens niggas was good. You understand? When Hell Rail was in jail and he had his little deal, the Bronx and Harlem niggas was good.
They said Tory ain't black. Yeah, what is ABG? What is Tory? Well, he's from the Caribbean? He's Jamaican? East side of town. So
No,
what
they
is it?
consider. They say Canadians don't consider themselves as black people.
Yo, Jock, yo, rise up. Jock is in the building, man. Vanguard TV, man. Jock Lion. Hey, yo, Jock Lion said, did K Dot nigga call with the Mexicans?
Yo, but what I'm saying is this, right? He had to be somebody, and like you said, we always live off of you know 90% mentally, man. You know what I'm saying?
Let me
ten
ask you
percent
this.
physically. You,
It's
you know
two
what I'm
good
saying? So
questions.
what is a gangster? Hold on. What is
Go
a
ahead.
gangster? You know what I'm saying? What is a gangster? You know what I'm saying? Niggas be going around acting like everything a gangster always gotta put in work with his on a physical tip. What is a gangster? We live by the 90% mentally, 10% physically. You know what I'm saying? So he used that 90% mentally coming in that jail. He didn't even have to use the 10% of his physical. You feel what I'm saying? And they didn't like that. You feel what I'm saying? He put this shit together. I could see it right now. You coming in with the bag instead of, like you said, taking from the people. You know what I mean? Having everything to himself, just moving around and a couple dudes eating. He brought love to the whole set. Bloods, Crips, Muslims, probably neutral dudes, the everything, every services that black people had. He probably put some bread into that. Come on, bro. You understand? And the Mexicans didn't like that because the Mexicans and the Aryans got a stronghold on the drugs, the stores, and everything that goes on in them LA jails. You know, and I know when we come into, if we ever got, let me knock on wood. We know, you know, and I know if we came into a spot, who had the stores? The Mexicans or the whites? It wasn't
Nah, I
no
seen
black
black
dudes
dudes.
with
Nah,
stores.
I seen black dudes with some big stores. I ain't gonna front.
A handful. Come on, bro. Keep it real. A handful.
I seen black dudes with
And then
some
if you
major
go to
stores.
that store, that shit is like 1 for 3. Nigga ain't going back over there. You know what I mean? The white boys and the Spanish dudes giving it 1 for 2. Black dudes want 1 for 3. We man, fuck that, man. Cause they want to do their people dirty.
Look, check it out. It says East Side of Town said, "What if the music industry set that up?" I think the
That
music
too.
industry. Yo, listen, hold on, but hold on. The music industry for me is a reach. The whole music industry got together. You got to make that more clear. It's a good question though, and you know, conspiracy theories. Everybody latches on to certain conspiracy theories, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know,
I
man. I
thought
don't.
about that too, though.
And
I
through the
thought about
Mexicans,
that too. I thought about the whole thing with him and the girl. You understand what I'm saying? And come on, 2 collapsed lungs. You know the Mexican mafia, they know where to stab you in the right places. You understand? To end your whole shit. You know what I'm saying? They could have killed him. They knew where to stab him. They knew the pressure points in them bodies. They take classes for that shit, bro.
they
Come
take
on,
classes.
bro.
They take classes for that knife work.
They they take classes for that knife work, bro.
I think some of that is just ingrained. You know, coming from another country is kind of different from America. You know, dudes in America's cowboys. Dudes got that steel in America, that American steel. You know what I'm talking about? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I know they got the calibers of weapons, but a lot of other countries don't got weapons like America. So dudes got guns. They used to dealing with knives in a lot of other places. So they probably better at using knives than the average American, black or other or whoever, because the countries that they coming from, they used to putting that knife work in them, the machetes. You know, like Jamaicans. All the Jamaicans that I know, they talk about cutlass. You know what I mean? They use them cutlass. They use them knives, bro. They use them. All them other countries, bro, they use knives more than us. In America, this is a cowboy nation. This is American steel. That's what dudes use out here in America. Just being honest, you heard?
Shit was sweet out there. Once his money start pushing it, you know what I'm saying? He thought shit was sweet. He could lay back as a king and sing over the phone. You understand? Sing over the internet and shit like that. And niggas wasn't having it. Like I
They say,
said, it's a program that been running in California, in them California jails with a Mexican mafia, you understand, um, has a grip on it. The drug trade, you understand? And I'm quite sure they got stores everywhere. Them dudes work out every day together. It's a mandatory that them dudes work out. Come to class, work out, burpees, everything.
ABG, hold on. Let's address this real quick, right, bro? ABG is saying y'all was up top. None of them, y'all both was up top. Not one Canadian CEO was saying they was black. None. Because yeah, they was in racist Attica. They was scared. You gotta remember, them COs was treating COs the same way they was treating prisoners up there in them jails, you heard? They was beating black COs too. They was beating people, man. Them COs don't play up there, man. They strict. They about that up there. Some people don't play, man. I'm just being honest, you heard? But
Nah, them
I can't say
Canadians
that.
don't give a fuck.
But I can't say that for all Canadians. You got to remember, a large part, whatever the Canadians believe they are, black or French Canadian, whatever they want to call themselves, the last stop on the Underground Railroad was in Canada. Am I right or wrong about that, Smitty?
Mm.
That Underground Railroad went from the south. That Underground Railroad went from the south all the way up through New York, all the way up through Auburn, through all those places to Canada. Last
Mm,
stop, last stop on the Underground Railroad was Canada. So them people up there is descendants of
Talk your
slaves.
talk.
So
Talk
them
your
people up.
talk.
See, this is the difference. This is when the history comes. That's why it's great to know your history. That's why you have to know your history. And the history of the slave trade is the last stop on the Underground Railroad was Canada, right?
Mm,
And they still have historical spots where you can see all that stuff up there. So them people, they just deaf, dumb, and blind. They can claim whatever they want. They can say they're not black or not, but that don't mean they're not black. That don't mean they're not of African descent. You know what I mean? That don't mean they're not
right,
descendants of of slaves. And that's what you see going on in this world in America. You know what I mean? Straight up, you heard. But that's the last top. That's the last stop on the Underground Railroad was in Canada. You heard?
right, right, right.
That's the fact. We can Google that. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I'm gonna Google it. We're gonna be talking. Go ahead, bro. We're going. Keep going.
Yeah, man. Man, it just goes to show how much power us brothers have. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not just saying inside of jail. It take one to spark the revolution. Or the revolt. You spark it. And surely others will follow. You know, um, it goes to show, man, what he just did. You know, we all know it's gonna be hate amongst.
I ain't gonna lie though. The
Once we
whole
come together.
the whole world hate on that though, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Even if we not trying to hurt anybody, just us unifying and aligning ourselves, bro, that automatically shows people automatically get mad when we try to do that, like it's against somebody else. Was the Underground Railroad in Canada? I'm googling that right now. Canada played a significant role. So just for y'all, so y'all can see this, Canada played a significant role in the Underground Railroad, which was a network that helped enslaved African Americans escape to freedom. Between 30,000 and 40,000 escaped slaves traveled to Canada through the network, seeking refuge from slavery in the United States. Canadian citizens actively aided these fugitives, providing shelter and support as they made their way north. The Underground Railroad was characterized by its loosely constructed network of escape routes, which originated in the southern United States and extended to Canada and extended
Mm,
to Canada, where
mm,
slavery was abolished. This journey was marked by courage and hope, as many sought a better life free from oppression. Overall, Canada's involvement in the Underground Railroad is a testament to its historical commitment to freedom and human rights. So y'all heard that? Y'all heard that here first, man. Canada was so them people up there saying that they not black, they saying they French Canadian. They can say anything they want. That don't mean that they're not descendants of slaves. That don't mean that your bloodline is not from Africa, from the South by way, from the South by way of Africa. You know what I mean? Um, but it's just a travesty to hear this, bro. Um, but this is the type of stuff you got to go through in prison. This type of stuff when you start being gang affiliated, you affiliating yourself with gangs and crews and stuff like that. This is what you got to look out for. So once, so
exactly.
once, so once Tory Lanez took up took up the fight to help free black people, to support black people in prison,
Right.
he automatically made himself enemy number one of the
A
Aryans
target.
and the Mexican mafia. You are
And the
enemy. You are the
government.
most powerful piece from that government, but from the Mexican mafia and the Aryans, he became enemy number one. This dude,
Right.
yo, salute. This dude got the money, he got the power, he's putting it out there, he ain't playing with it. He ain't moving like no sucker, he ain't hiding out. Son is out here in the yard, son is moving around, everybody's jacking him. Nah, he gotta go, he's too strong. You see what
Right.
I'm saying? He too
Right.
strong, he gotta go, you heard? But I've seen that in New York amongst leaders. Certain dudes come in prison, they ain't gotta have no beef. Certain dudes pull up, they already plotting to get you off the set because you might be messing up our money. We getting money. Now you got this dude pull up, he getting money. You know what we do in
Right.
New York? You hear dudes just dropping slips. First you see a dude start getting locked up for no reason. Like, yo, why they locking son up for? Dudes dropping, man. Yo, they drop mad slips on me. They have me under 72-hour investigation for what? They saying it's a hit on me. That's the first thing they're gonna say. Yo, it's a hit on him. You know what I mean? Yo, it's a hit on me. It's a hit on me. And then the next thing you know, you out the spot for whatever reason, a fight or whatever. You know what I mean? Admin sag. They they make something up, or dudes get active on you, send a buster at you, send two or three guys at you, and you off that. You know what I mean? That's how it go. You heard? Yo, 1090 salute.
Um, yeah. You're right, and like he took on that, right, and my whole thing is this: when you know, is he gonna think about his career? Is he gonna come back out on timing? We already know the type of time the Mexicans and the Aryans on because they sent a message. You understand what I'm saying? That that bag don't mean nothing. You know, like I
Right.
said, this is like you coming to Clinton right now with a 2025, a 2000, and you got a 2025 number, and you said you taking the court. You got a nigga up there right now with a motherfucking 83 number, with an 83 number. Been cooking on this court since 93.
That's true.
Took took him 10 years to get this court.
Right.
You understand? So now Tory Lanez come in there with the bag where it took these Mexicans and Aryans because the brothers, they're not together really. You understand? They still got politics in the hood between Bloods and Crips. Certain Bloods and Crips, they cool. They get together, but they still got their politics. You know what I'm saying? Them Aryans and the Mexicans, they ran by a fist. You feel what I'm saying? They work out together. They eat together. They don't eat outside their race. You understand what I'm saying? They don't do nothing outside their race. They keep everything inside their race. So when you got a dude that's just coming through on a skid bid with a couple dollars, fucking up a program that been going on for 30 years, that nigga's been holding down for 30, 40 years. You understand what I'm saying? Then it's a problem. You gotta go. And that's what Tory fucked up. Instead of being a motherfucker that, you could have helped brothers out, get them out of jail.
All right.
You understand what I'm saying? But you stepped in a spot where, you know, you gotta back that shit up.
All right. ABG said his family is from America, not from Africa. I understand it. I got family that's from America, and I got family that's from Africa. But we all black. You know what I'm saying? Some of us
Right.
look at the high,
El
my
Plaga.
my complexion. Look at my cheekbones. We Cherokee. I got a lot of Cherokee in my family. Half of my family was born in the South, but we black.
Right.
And the Jamaican part of my family is black also. This is where Marcus Garvey, all this stuff, a lot of the information and support came from. We trying to redefine all this stuff now, but we all by way, one way or another. Not saying that people weren't here. Like I said, my people were here, and some of my people didn't come on a slave ship. I understand that. I understand that fully. You know what I mean? And I understand the whole argument, but it's confusion. It's confusion because what we doing now is we still marginalizing ourselves. We are separating ourselves and further breaking down something that being black only came from the 60s. Black started in the 60s from the civil rights movement. That we never looked at ourselves as black before that.
Yeah,
Negroes
I'm
and other
black and I'm
things.
proud. I'm black and I'm proud.
The whole Black Power movement, the Black Panthers, the Black Power movement, the civil rights movement, black came out of that. Black came out of that. That's where everybody got together and said, we together, we coming together from that. That's where that came from. Right? Before in the world, before white people started, before the new invention of slavery and a transatlantic slave, There was no thing of white and black in the world. It was just you from where you from, and that's your nation. And you know, you're Indian, you're Ghana, you from Chad, or you from wherever. But with with the creation of the transatlantic slave trade, that's when the thing of white came to the world. That only been in existence for 400 or 500 years. We came with black after that. We changed our we took ownership. Instead of calling ourselves Negroes, what they were calling us, or colored, or those things, that's something that the people put upon ourselves, and we said we were all black, right? You had James Brown, you had people, the music, the musicians, the freedom fighters at that time, the civil rights movement, everybody played a part of being black. Now, it's nothing wrong with redefining it, but it is something wrong with separating ourselves and weakening what is already confusion and being wrong. That's what's going on now on the internet. So we starting, Haitians ain't black, these people ain't black, Jamaicans ain't black. I'm from America, I'm American. Some people not black. It's just a lot more confusion. You know what I mean? I
Right.
understand, but people just need to understand their history and what's really going on. As long as you know that, as long as you really know your history, then you can give guidance to people and you can really understand. But you know, just making it as a like a battle cry, a war cry against Jamaicans. I'm Jamaican. I got family from America and I got family from Jamaica. It's nothing.
Right.
It's not what my,
My
my
peoples
father
is
was
black.
born in
My
Jamaica.
peoples is
My
black folk.
grandmother was born in Jamaica. My father was born in Jamaica and immigrated to America. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a what? He's a first generation. He's an immigrant and I'm a son of an immigrant, right? My mother was born in America, Cherokee Indian. They've been in America since our line. We don't know nothing else except being in America from the South, right? From North Carolina. But this is just knowing the history. But we all black. We all consider ourselves black in my family. So I don't know what the arguments going on YouTube and what people are trying to redefine. If some people are just trolling and just trying to just troll with that information, then that's something too that I probably think it's a lot of trolling going on with that too. But just know yourself and know your history. That's the most important part. But go ahead, Smitty. You muted, bro. You muted. You muted, bro.
Money bags don't go. Stay through. Money bags. You said you got a homie that's a more and identifies as white, and that's weird to me. He got. I mean, excuse me. That's not weird to me. He got identifies himself as whatever he want to be, whatever color he want to be. If he want to be green and identify himself as green, then let him identify himself as being green. That's what he want to see himself as. Who is anybody to tell anybody how they identify themselves? You feel what I'm saying? It should be no problems how a person identify themselves. You feel me? At the end of the day, man, and that's our problem. You know what I'm saying? Worrying about how other people identify themselves. We unique in all ways. You know what I
Right.
mean?
So I can't
Everybody
really
got
be
they
mad. Yeah, right, Smitty. That's what as long as you know your history, then how you identify yourself, I can't be mad at somebody that said they're not black. That
right,
that that if you say you're not black, I'm not black, I'm from this country. I respect you.
right,
Just know your
right,
history. Just know your history outside of that. All right, that's an argument, but know your history outside of that, you heard?
right,
You know what I
right.
mean?
You know what I'm saying? Money back. Salute to you, brother. If we don't get to the your comments, you know,
Drop a
definitely
super
put a
chat. That's what a
definitely put a
super
super chat
that's
in.
what a super
Definitely,
chat is
that's
for,
what
you
the
heard?
super chat is for. You know what I'm
We
saying?
yo,
Definitely put
we
a super
engage in
chat in.
what we want to engage in. We take comments that we want to, but a super chat is something that we gotta read. If you
You
really got something that
understand?
you really want
Yeah.
to say, then super chat it. Oh,
Hit
yo,
the super
God
chat. Ain't
shall
no
blessings.
problem with
Thanks for
that.
the sub. God shall
You know what I
blessings.
mean?
Thanks for the sub.
Um,
Appreciate you. Thanks, new sub. God shall blessings.
nah, we definitely appreciate y'all brothers, but like I said, no one should get mad at how another person identifies themselves or go about how they believe they should move in life. You understand what I'm saying? We all unique. You're not supposed to move. I'm not supposed to move like Mikey B. That's what makes it unique, and that's what makes a great show right here. You understand? Because everything I say, Mikey B is not gonna agree upon it. Everything
Right,
he
right.
say,
Yo, listen,
I'm not gonna
listen.
agree upon.
Yo,
You
look,
understand what I'm
we
saying?
have when we start having an argument behind the scenes, just being honest, when we talk about topics that we're going to talk about, I say, yo, listen, this could be a good argument to have on the internet. We stop the argument so we can have the argument up here. Just being honest, you heard? Because we don't agree on everything. You freezing too. I think you froze too, Smitty. Because we don't agree on everything, and I'm good with that. We all men, we all lions. We both men. So we not going to agree on everything. Just like in the chat, everybody not going to agree. Smitty froze up. Smitty froze up. Just like in the chat. Right, right. Yo, Miss Tweety, salute. Word. Definitely much love. Yo, Smitty bread. Nobody is really black or white. Of course, my skin is not black or white, but these are cultures. White is a culture. Black is a culture. We got black music. We got black clothing. Black is a culture in America. Here comes Smitty. Smitty back. But I was just saying, I was answering Yosemite's question because he said nobody's really black or white. And I agree because that is a color.
Fact.
That is a color. So I agree. I agree with that. But we invented a black culture, something for us to own. That was a
Right.
that was a that was a an invention of colored people. No matter how you put it, colored people at that time, Negroes at that time, invented black culture to encompass, to unite everybody. This is this is what this is what Marcus Garvey, Pan Africanism, Malcolm X. It was black people in a diaspora. This was able to connect all of us, regardless of all these things that we talking and using against each other right now. We built this culture to connect all of us as one, to unite the people, right? And now we using it to fight against each other. Y'all tripping, y'all bugging. I'm just being honest, you heard? That was used, the word black was used to unite the people behind one cause, regardless of what nation that you come from in the black diaspora. Pan Africanism was one of the things. The red, black, and green flag was created behind all this time in the 60s and the 70s. The Pan African flag for Marcus Garvey. Malcolm X, he became a part of Pan Africanism. You see what I'm saying? And that's African people in a diaspora. That's all colored people in the diaspora. All these things was made to unite us no matter where we were at. So understand your history. If you don't know your history, learn your history. Or y'all can hear me ramble on up here and talk history. If y'all want history lessons, I don't mind kicking it on history. I love my history and I love sharing it. So if y'all want questions, y'all got questions. And if y'all got important questions y'all want answered and y'all don't want them to go by, super chat them. Go ahead, Smitty. What's next?
Think that we actually created the word black. I'm gonna kind of disagree with you a little bit
Created the
on
no,
that.
no. I said no. I didn't say we created the word. I said we created the culture.
Yeah, I mean, we in some way we created the culture, but it was like actually forced upon us because like I said, the government made the word white dominant and the word black um not dominant. You feel what I'm saying? Or not pleasurable, or just the word. You understand? And it's like we took it and made it something different. You feel what I'm saying? You're right about that, but it's like they actually gave us that. You know what I'm saying? We start calling ourselves black because they gave us the name black.
No, they was not calling us black. That is not true.
I
They
mean,
called us niggas. They called us colored. They called us Negroes. They did not
all
call us
right,
black.
yeah, all right. I'm confused. All right, you right about that. I could go for that. You right. All right. I could go for that. But it was blacks and whites. At first it wasn't a black uh fountain and white fountain. It was a
No, it
black
was
and
a
white fountain.
no, it was a colored fountain. But you had no. Don't get me wrong. Certain establishments was white only. It wasn't black only because a
Blacks
white person go with a
allowed.
no. It was white only.
No blacks or coloreds allowed.
Not no no not
Colored.
blacks. No, it's not blacks or colored. It was
Hold
white
on.
only.
Let me look up. Let me look up this on the what's the name? I'm gonna see if it said
Right.
no blacks allowed or no colored. Hold on.
We know that the truth,
That's a good question right there. Here.
but we know that we know it's whites only.
Back at y'all
I
with
got this
number
good
one.
computer in front of me. I just look whites only signs. Look, colored.
See if it say no blacks only. Hold
I
on.
see colored only right here. No whites. Hold on. I see white only. Hold on.
Where the
Whites
hell they had
only.
a colored only at?
Look, they had. I don't know. Waiting room for colored only. Whites only. Come on, they called us. They called us colored. You heard? They called us colors, bro.
No dogs, Negroes, or Mexicans. No colored allowed. Let me see. Hold
Negro.
on.
That's they call us. They ain't wanna
No Irish, no blacks, no dogs.
colored only. Look, white area. Yeah, bro. They had us in the they had us in the blender, bro. Colored whites. Colors that way whites. Whites only colored. Colored only. We can go, bro. They called us colored, bro. Come on, this is just the facts of the history, bro. Colored only. No whites. No whites. No whites allowed. Yeah, bro. Colored whites. That's how it is, though. Bro. That's just the facts of the history, bro.
Nah, I would say you right. You right. I thought it did say black, so that's why
We didn't call ourselves
you
black
know they threw all that
into
shit
the
on us.
'60s.
That colored, that black shit. You know.
I mean, no, they didn't. Like I told you, they didn't throw that on us because that's an invention of the civil rights movement. The
Okay.
black culture was created by the civil rights movement, and the guys that was thinking at the time, the Black Panthers, all that was created by them, bro. We didn't call ourselves. We didn't think of ourselves. We didn't view ourselves in the world as black until the '60s, bro. And that was in black empowerment. That was a black empowerment move, you heard?
Hold on, I'm seeing something right now because I want to look something up.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, they shifted from color to black as self-description descriptor for people of African descent in the United States gained momentum starting in the late 1960s. You absolutely right, bro. Particularly with the rise of the Black Power movement, this period saw unconscious reclaiming of identity and a move away from the terms of colored that was often imposed by the dominant white society. He's absolutely right.
Yo, bro, one thing about me, if I don't know something, I'm not gonna cap.
Yo,
I am a
Ticket.
historian when it comes to when it comes to a lot of different history, because I studied a lot of history. But when it comes to my history, bro, I know my history, bro. I don't come up here and be lying. You know what I mean? I don't be capping. I ain't gonna just freestyle that. That's something I don't play with that. I ain't gonna freestyle that. I'm giving you the facts. You know what I'm saying? And
Facts.
and let me tell you something. Learning my history, if you don't know your history, you need to learn your history to empower yourself. That's what changed my life. With artwork, like, you know, I ain't even put up, I got other little pieces of artwork. Like Malcolm. This is what
Shout out to Tiki Bolo, you heard? He gotta be solo bolo.
I got my son Malcolm. Look, I got my son Malcolm up in here.
Facts.
R.I.P. to Malcolm X, yo. But word, bro, if you don't know your history, bro, it's important because it's going to give you If you don't know your history, then it kills you. You don't have the confidence. You don't
Just Talk
have
said Mikey X.
a Mikey X. That's right. You know why? You know what the X stand for, right? You
Right,
know
right, right.
what the
The
X
X
stand for?
Factor. The X Factor.
What is the X factor? What the Yo, Mikey
The
X is crazy,
unknown.
bro.
The unknown.
The
What you talk
unknown.
about? The unknown, man. Come on, man. The X is the unknown, man.
The
Come on, man.
unknown.
Stop. Come on, man. Yo, man, I read that book like 60 times.
The
I
unknown.
read
That's right.
Malcolm X, Assad Shakur,
The
all that
unknown.
shit like
They stole the last names of the people, so that's why they all had them X names at first. They all had the X
that's
names at first
facts.
because they didn't have a lot of them were saying they was the lost tribe of Sabaz. For real. They
Right,
were saying they was the lost tribe of Sabaz, but they took on the X. They took on the X to signify the unknown because they know all the last names that black people have in America are the names of the plantations that their family was on. John's
right,
son, you John's son, Jack's son. All these names. And let me tell you something, bro. Like when I talk to the Native Americans from the Cherokee Nation, I
mhm,
spoke to them, right? And I told them who I was. I told them where my family's from, and they understand and know that I'm a Jackson from North Carolina, right? The Jacksons in North Carolina is a part of the Cherokee Nation. That's the Trail of Tears that they went through and all that stuff. I studied my history, bro, and I don't mind to go ask questions and find out what's going on. And that's why I know I have people that's been in America and from America, and I have people that's from Africa as well. You know what I mean?
right.
And let me tell y'all something too, because they gave us a lot of false history.
Whole
Um,
lot.
and let me tell you something. Cherokee people might have been here on this place in America from the beginning of time.
Right.
Born here, made here in America. Don't never think like
Blackfoots, all of that.
no, because you got to remember the original Native Americans is darker than me and you, bro. If you look, let me hold on, man. Y'all got me on this timing. Y'all got me on this timing. You heard?
My peoples is Blackfoot. I know that. My
Oh,
peoples
word?
is Blackfoot Indians, yes. Blackfoot Indians, and I think my pops and them side, them niggas like I don't know, I think Cherokees or something like that. I know my father's side is Bayesian. Those ain't the real Indians. That's not how real Indians look.
Ah, bro. A lot of them, they look like that, bro. Some of them they look like that, bro. They had, and you got to remember, some of them was white, was mixing of races. That's what you called a $2 Indian. You heard? You had $2 Indian. You heard?
Hmm.
A $2 Indian, bro. These dudes is darker than us, man.
Why do they use the word Indian giver? Why do you think they use that word Indian giver?
Because they tried to take the land. They sold the land. See, they had us saying that. They gave us all that stuff as kids.
Are you an Indian giver?
No, because they saying we sold us the land, then you try to take the land back that you sold us. you try to
You an
pull
Indian giver.
you try to pull it off on us, you heard?
You tried to pull it off on us.
My son, look. Son right here was a beast. Look at Geronimo, you heard? Look how dark he was. Son wasn't no light. Look, that complexion, bro. Who gave us? He said, who gave us to the white people? Yo, Caesar's crazy. Nah, some of them black people was turning in. They were selling people off. Black people was selling people off. I mean, they still selling people out today, you know? He not different. I can't hear you, Smitty. You muted, Smitty.
We need a Friday or Thursday history throwback. THT. Thursday history throwback.
Yo, Tiki Bolo. He said, I'm glad that y'all showing we all far from dunces. No dunces allowed. That's a fact, though. It's a lot of idiot stuff that goes up here on the internet. And don't get me wrong, sometimes I entertain with the idiot and nonsense. I'm not going to say I'm exempt, that I don't go
Ax, we
in.
get on the gate. Yo, Tiki, we get on the
We
gate
go
for a
in.
little bit. You
But
feel me?
I'm far from a bozo. I'm far from a dunce. We ain't on that. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? We got we came up the right way. We came up with good elders behind us, making sure we learn our history. And it's up to a lot of us to make sure we in contact with people, making sure they know their history as well. And giving out,
Right.
we on social media, we need to be giving out the real history so people really know what's going on, even if it's in small little blurbs like we do now or whatever. It's still a reference on the internet where you can come to and find out some things about your history. You know what I mean? Or and even some people, everybody don't even know who they can go to ask these questions to, or to get certain answers from. You know what I mean? Yeah, look
Nah,
at
I agree with you. I agree with you, man. I gotta get to work though, Mikey B. You already know. We back on. Gotta go get my work clothes together and everything.
all right.
9 to 5 better than 25, but y'all already know. Check out my shit. Yeah, I mean my page. A lot going on TV. Excuse me. You know what I mean? Go over there and check it out. Salute to y'all. Bless up to all of y'all. Stay safe out there. Y'all already know Hood Love TV. Me and Mikey B on.
Straight up, you already
Uh,
know. Hey, yo, listen, look at Monster Mo still going in. He talking about they chased Kunta for 35 minutes. Yeah, Huh?
35
Black.
trying to get
That was
that
black
black,
people. They was trying to get that bag. Like, hold on, we got to heat.
trying to get that bag. We gotta get that for real. But salute to y'all, man. I'm about to go get this paper.
Look, man, but this was a good one. Um, Hopefully Tory Lanez, I heard he's feeling. I heard he's in stable condition. That's good. Hopefully he gets out of the hospital soon, and hopefully we'll be hearing from him soon directly because I know he's going to speak on this. Hopefully his family speaks more on this. Um it's a lot going on, man. It's a lot going on. Make sure y'all go subscribe to my brother Smitty over there. A lot going on TV. Made from Scraps TV. Salute to everybody that pulled up Tiki Bolo, but put it in the comment section. If y'all want different shows, if y'all want us to talk about different topics, ABG, FBA was up in here with a lot of good questions. We love all the good questions and stuff like that. Put them in the comment section and hit me up on Instagram or something, and I'll try to do a show on it. We got a lot of good shows coming y'all way, you heard? Yo, that's crazy, you heard, bro? Who next, right? Who next? Yo, but salute to y'all, man. Thanks for tapping in. Get y'all a little lunchtime free ride. You already know what it is, man. It's Mr. Hood Love, Mikey B, Smitty, a lot going on TV. Salute, man.